Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it today. Today I wanted to talk to you about employment opportunities with the federal government. So there's all kinds of different jobs out there, and there's government jobs and state government and federal government and city government and private sector and so forth. For this specific video, I'm going to talk about finding a job through USA Jobs, and there's a whole host of reasons why you may or even may not be interested in a federal job. But if you are in the job market, at least take a look or listen to it and see if there's something that makes sense. And if you're not in the job market, maybe you know somebody who is, right? A loved one, son, daughter, aunt, uncle, cousin, brother, whatever, right? You get the picture. So it's good to take in the information, know that it exists, share it with other people. And, hey, the more people that we get this in the hands of, maybe we can actually shift and change dynamics of some of these different organizations, agencies, departments, so forth. So with that, how do we do it? Thumbs up is great because that helps to get the word out. Subscribing helps my channel. I really appreciate everybody's subscription so much. So thank you for that. Now, let's just kind of dive into it. I'm just going to do a little overview of kind of USA Jobs and some kind of little tips and tricks on the actual application portion. But before I get into the tips on applying and how to address your resume, I'm going to talk about a couple of the kind of housekeeping things to keep an eye on and take advantage of when it comes to applying to a job in USA Jobs as a veteran. So number one is your veteran's preference, right? So you have veteran's preference. Even as a non-disabled veteran, you have veteran's preference with federal jobs. And that would be a 5-point preference. And then if you're a disabled veteran, you can get a 10-point preference. You would utilize the SF15 form, that's standard form 1515, and that is the preference kind of form that you would submit. You'd also want to submit your DD-214, obviously, and you'd want to also submit any proof of service connection for disabilities. And to do that, in your va.gov profile, when you sign in, you can pull up various different letters, form letters from the VA on you specifically. So most people print out the benefits letter that shows, hey, you're rated at whatever, 70%. This is how much we pay you per month, and so forth. And this is your branch of service, and yada, yada. So there is a form in there that is specific for civil service, and that is the form that basically says you are 30% or higher, if you are, for veteran preference points, that type of stuff with USA Jobs. So you can go ahead and utilize that form as well to submit with your veterans preference packet portion of your application. In addition, something to be aware of is there are different recruitment authorities specific to hiring veterans. And really there's 4 of them. The 4 are Veterans Recruitment Appointment, which is VRA. And quite honestly, you can go into USA Jobs, and in the job search field, you can do one of 2 things. You can either click the little green shield. There's a green shield which indicates veteran employment opportunities, right? So where they're actively seeking veterans for those positions. Another way you can do it is just do open to public, look at every single job opportunity in a geographic area, and then type in the search bar, instead of a title of what you're looking for, you could put VRA or Veterans Recruitment Appointment. And that will help to kind of bubble up those job opportunities for you to see. So again, that's a veteran appointment authority that the VA has, that the federal government has in place to hire veterans. Another is the designation of being a 30% or greater veteran. In some cases, the hiring agency or department or what have you will have the ability to just go out and handpick a veteran with a 30% or higher rating and place them in their organization, which is great, right? So it bypasses a lot of the back and forths, right? It makes it really easy for an organization to say, hey, I need a veteran in this position because of whatever skill sets they bring. And for the right veteran, I'm just going to hand pick them and appoint them. So that's a great opportunity. You'll see that a lot with the prisons. The prisons will do that because veterans are a good fit. The next is the Veteran Employment Opportunity Act. So the Veteran Employment Opportunity Act is another veteran hiring authority within USA jobs or the federal government hiring process. The last one is there is a specific appointment for anybody, any veteran who is going through VA training. So it could be maybe through VOC Rehab, or, well, it used to be VOC Rehab. Now it's VRNE, which is Veterans Readiness and Employment through the VA, and you're receiving some sort of a training, that type of stuff. That could probably segue into that bucket. Now, to get on to some tips with your resume, what I suggest doing is, you really want to make it as easy as you can. Now, remember, with your resumes in USA jobs, they're a lot different than the civilian sector. The civilian sector, you're pretty much controlled by a 1 or 2 page resume, and that's it. On the USA job side, however, it can be multiple pages. It's not uncommon to see a 7 or 8 page resume in USA jobs when you're applying. Now, and that's okay, right? You'll see that. There is, however, times where you will see a limit on the resume length in the application procedures for a specific job. So it may say, hey, follow these procedures to apply for this job, and oh, by the way, make sure that your resume is not over 5 pages. So don't submit a 6-page or 7-page resume when it says that it can't be over 5, right? So make sure you read the instructions for the application procedures for whatever job you're applying to. Very important, because you don't want to miss that. So now that you know what your limitations are or are not with regard to your resume length, it's important to make sure that you are hammering home what they're looking for. Now, for me, I will have my basic resume, and I'll have everything listed for whatever jobs I've had, right? And I'll have a few bullet points. Maybe I'm using my civilian sector resume with my bullet points on whatever specific job that I'm going after. In looking at USA jobs and looking at a job that I want to apply for, I'm going to really focus in on what they're looking for. And they'll have it spelled out for you. It's kind of like an open book test is how I like to describe this. Your test book is that job requisition where they're listing everything that they're looking for and the kind of the day in the life and what you're expected to do in this position and all that stuff. That's all in that job requisition. That's the open book. Your test is, your answer sheet is your resume, and the test is to migrate as much over as you can. Now, we've all heard of keywords and making sure that you put all this stuff into your resume. All the keywords are there for you in that job description. What I like to do, and what I suggest people do, is read each bullet point or numbered line or whatever they have in their descriptions of the job that you're applying to and what they're looking for. Read each one of them. And then take each one of those and change as few words as possible to make it fit you and your experience in whatever job you had done. So if you had done all of those things in your past job or your current job, then you want to articulate that. And if you don't have to change any words to make it fit you, then put that exactly in your resume just like it says it. And if you have to change a couple words to make it fit you, then change those couple words and then place that into your resume. Then your next job, let's say that your current job is the last 4 years. Cool. So you have that in there for the last 4 years. The job before that you held for another 3 years. Okay, did you do any of those things in that previous job? If the answer is yes, change as few words as possible to make it fit that job and your experience and place it in that portion of your resume as well. And if it duplicates, it duplicates, right? You're just doubling down on your experience for what they're looking for. That first blush of your application and resume is done by a recruiter who is looking to see if you meet the minimum qualifications. If you do, they're going to push you to the hiring manager. Also, don't forget to write your cover letter. Include a cover letter and reference the veteran different veteran hiring authorities that are applicable. So whether it's the VRA, whether it's a 30% disabled veteran authority, or you're getting trained by the VA, or it's the Veteran Opportunity Employment Act, or the Veteran Employment Opportunity Act, regardless of which one of those it is, reference that in your cover letter. And with all of that stuff packaged up and hitting all of the things that they're looking for in your resume, you're going to have a really good shot at getting past the first barriers of that recruitment. So with that, I'll go ahead and end it. I hope that you gained something out of that, one small nugget at least. And hey, remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.